Welcome back to the hippest country chat room on the airwaves. For the next 60 minutes, you're logged on to the virtual Honky Tonk. Once again, here's Ray.
All right, are you doing okay? Great. I see we got a table of people from West Guilford. Hello, got to say hi to those folks. Glad you're here. I've been looking forward to catching up with my next guest for some time. Listen to this guy's resume. He's one of Nashville's great guitarists. He's a respected singer and producer, and most recently his skill as a hit songwriter has shot him into superstardom. This is his year. He's on the cover of this month's Country Wave magazine, and we've got him on the line right now. Here he is. Say hi to Steve Wariner.
Hey, Ray.
Steve, welcome to the virtual Honky Tonk.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, just great. Just wonderful.
Last time we talked, you were sporting a bit of a scraped-up face playing basketball.
Well, you know, I don't play as much basketball anymore, and it's probably a good thing. I've slowed down as the years have come on, I think, is what it is.
So you're okay right now?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I mean, I'm in good shape. It's been a good couple of days. EMI is really taking good care of me, so...
Well, it's about time that somebody treated you with kid gloves because, man, you are hot.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I might have to say it's been a good last year or so. It's been wonderful, and we're real excited. My wife and I are like two little kids down in Nashville. We're having a great time.
Congratulations on the new album. It's the best thing I've heard in a long, long time.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. It's really pretty country, too, isn't it? It's pretty, a lot of it's back to the kind of roots, the traditional country, you know. And
it feels like an instant classic album.
Wow, that's incredible. I appreciate hearing that. Someone recently said this, and it really knocked me out. They said that it really felt like it was so real cohesive. It didn't sound like 12 songs recorded at all different times and stuck together. It really sounded like a whole project done from start to finish that was meant to be together, you know. And that was the greatest compliment. Looking at it from a producer's side, that's exactly what I was shooting for. That was perfect words, and I forget who said it, but that makes you feel good hearing that.
Sure does, I bet. Now, this has been a long time coming. You've been a hard-working guy for a lot of years. Does this make the success that much sweeter?
Well, it does. I tell you, it sure does. And you know, the last couple years, around 3 years, I guess, you know, taking the time off to just to lay back and write and kind of laying low, and then coming back in the middle of it all now. I think at this point when I've matured and after all this time, I think I appreciate it a lot more this time around, no doubt about that. And you know, I think back in the 80s when I was having my string of hits, and we actually, that was a great run I was with Tony Brown, and we had 10 number ones in a row and all that. That was wonderful. But you know, I think I was younger and was in the middle of all that, and didn't quite understand it and as much as I do now. I think with a little maturity, you certainly understand and appreciate it a lot more.
Well, how important was taking that time off?
I think it was real healthy for me to do that. I think what happened for me was I got to a point in my life and my career where I wanted to. I thought I saw a lot of changes in the industry, and I saw a lot of changes at radio, to be honest. And I just felt like it would be a great time for me to step back and reassess where I was in my career and my life, and look at things and shift gears, so to speak. And actually, the first time at that time, it was the first time since 1973 that I'd been off the road. I'd been steadily since the days when I worked with Dottie West, you know. And so I thought it was vital for me to step back. And I have to say, I was a lot more leery about it than my wife was. She's the one that kept saying, "You're a great songwriter. You need to just be writing. Get off the road." And you know, it's a little scary when that's all you've ever done, and then all of a sudden you shift gears that drastically, you know. But she was the one. A lot of people were telling me, says, "Man, great move you're doing. You must be really confident." And I go, "Not at all. It's my wife that is more than me." So it goes back to those saying, behind every success story, you know, there's a great woman, I think. So.
Well, listen, I can't wait to play something from your new album, Burning the Roadhouse Down. So here's the title cut. Steve Wariner on the virtual Honky Tonk. Every Little Whisper by Steve Wariner on the virtual Honky Tonk. Kicking it off was the title cut from his new album, Burning the Roadhouse Down, with the Garth Man helping out on vocals. Great stuff, Steve.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to do a little hero worshiping. That and more coming up.
There's lots more to download. The virtual Honky Tonk on 820 CHAM continues right after this.
You've driven by
Aaron.
You're listening to the Virtual Honky Tonk on 820 CHAM. Once again, here's Ray Ellis.
Steve Wariner is with me. Now, Steve, I know one of your closest friends in Nashville is my hero, Chet Atkins. I've never met him, but from everything I've heard, he sounds like a true gentleman. Well, how's he doing these days?
You know, he's doing great. I talked to him about 3 days ago, and I speak to him quite often. I just saw him recently. I don't know if you may or may not know, but he fell about 3 or 4 months ago and broke his hip. And he is doing great with that. He's gone through therapy. I think he's still in therapy for his hip, but he's up and about again and walking and doing great. And I think he's doing real well. His spirits are wonderful, and he sounds like the old Chet. So he had his bout with the cancer stuff there for a while, but that's in remission, and I think he's feeling great. And I actually just played on a thing he produced more recently, Mary Chapin Carpenter thing. She recut "Oh Lonesome Me," and Chet produced it, and I played on it, and Mark Knopfler played on it, and so did Vince Gill. So that's something that's kind of neat. Being in the studio with Chet producing is absolutely heaven for me, so it was great.
It would be heaven for anybody.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? And we did it at the old RCA, Studio A at the old RCA. I mean, I was looking around expecting the Everly Brothers to walk in at any minute, you know.
We're showcasing your album, Burning the Roadhouse Down, so let's play some of your favorite cuts. What would you say is your number one pick?
A six-pack of Go, I absolutely love.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because a six-pack of Go just floored me when I heard it. If they were around today, I bet Patsy Cline and Jim Reeves would be arm wrestling over who would get to cut it next. I think it's an instant classic.
Is that right? Wonderful. Well, that's in the classic mode, you know, and to me, there's a lot of, I give a ton of credit to my co-writer, Jim Rushing. He's the old professor, just an incredible songwriter. And I have to be honest, when we wrote that morning, we were writing that morning, he wouldn't mind me saying this. So him and his wife were in the midst of some serious problems, and since then they have departed ways. But that was the first morning after it kind of came down, and I told him, I said, Jim, we certainly don't have to write today. And he says, nope, I need to. I want to write. And so all I can say is there's some real truism. There's some real stuff in that song, and some real feelings. But I really like the way that song's put together. And I also like Big Ol' Empty House, and I like Burn the Roadhouse Down. I love that. And Trisha Yearwood came in and sang on Love Me Like You Love Me. I've always loved that song. Clay Walker cut that a few years ago on his album called Hypnotize the Moon. And I've always really liked that song. So there's a lot of different, and Holes in the Floor of Heaven is just real special to me. So it'd be hard to say a favorite, but I love a six-pack of Go.
Tell me about Holes in the Floor of Heaven. You said off the air that it's one of those songs that seems to really touch people. How does it feel when somebody comes up to you and relays a story about someone they've lost and how your song has affected them?
Well, I've never had a song that got reactions like Holes in the Floor. I mean, I'm hearing stories that you wouldn't even believe. I mean, they're telling me about their mother or their father that passed away, and I saw recently a girl came up just at an in-store just crying her eyes out, and she had a picture of her sister, and she said that was her and her sister's song, and her sister was murdered a year, not long before. And I mean, it's just those kind of, it's really the greatest compliment to me that this song can possibly be uplifting about someone's loved one that they've loved and lost, and it does it in a somewhat of a positive way. So I take that from a writer point of view, that could be only the greatest compliment, that someone would come up and want to tell me about their sister or their brother or somebody that they love and have lost, and I take it as a great compliment.
Well, here it is, Holes in the Floor of Heaven by Steve Wariner on the Virtual Honky Tonk. Nothing But the Taillights by Clint Black, co-written by my guest, Steve Wariner, on the Virtual Honky Tonk. Coming up, I'm going to put Steve on the spot. No web browsing.
Don't touch that mouse. The Virtual Honky Tonk on 820 CHAM continues right after this.